What is up, everybody? I'm NoLuxGiven, and today we're going to be taking a look at Snow Angel, now called Phoenix Angel. Though that name totally doesn't make 100% sense to me, I actually think Snow Angel is a really good name for this hero because the most important part of the hero power winds up happening when you hit level 3 and grab that first tier 3 character for free. As you know, early econ is so much more impactful than late game econ, and grabbing that early tier 3 character really allows you to snowball and have big impacts on your strength for the rest of the game. So I do think that Snow Angel is a fitting name. Phoenix Angel, there's not really, it doesn't resummon or anything when you die. That would be a cool idea for a hero, but that's totally different than what Snow Angel has got going on. Either way, we are off to a pretty good start here. We don't get the Slay, but we do get the roll the die onto Polywoggle, which is cool because it means that we might get a Slay coming up here. And I wound up rolling for a Mad Mim and hitting on that. So again, if we win the 50-50, we will definitely be able to grab this Slay with Polywoggle. And one of the interesting things with Snow Angel, I've talked about this recently in my Zippy the Zombie video, and I've also been talking about it recently a little bit on Discord. But one thing about Storybook Brawl is trying to find interesting ways to high roll and get ahead. Find some nice little ways to find leads and press your luck in Storybook Brawl. And there's a few heroes. Somebody actually asked the question, how willing are you to pick up Polywoggle in the early turns of the game? And I said it depends on the hero. It's not just something that I always pick up, but one hero that I am willing to pick up Polywoggle on that might not initially make sense is Snow Angel or Phoenix Angel. And the reason for that is Snow Angel gets that early lead. Once you hit level 3, and we actually get one of the best hits here, we are able to grab a stag. And basically, the idea is that, as we also see another Polywoggle in this shop too, I forgot about that. Getting the early lead means that you can take a little bit more risks in some other areas of your game. Hopefully that makes sense, and I didn't talk over myself too much here. The point is, we're super strong right now for 3.0. So we can take a little bit of risks and try to find some other ways to get ahead and grab an advantage. We see a pair here. Sometimes you might lock onto a pair. It's a little bit awkward on Snow Angel to lock onto that particular pair though, so I don't wind up going for it. Though I do have some interesting games coming up with Phoenix Angel, which is a new hero, and in those games I actually wind up playing evil comps, just maybe to be silly, maybe for the meme, but it winds up working out in some very interesting ways. We get an interesting transformation here, Heartwood Elder. For now, it's just going to be a 5/7, not going to be anything super impressive. And then we do see another pair there. We see the Good Witches, but I wind up rolling past those as well in favor of maybe potentially finding some stags. Again, I think that we're just really strong for this current stage of the game, so just hoping to make use of that in some capacity. The Shadow Assassin, we are no longer trying to scale. We had the Polywoggles slaying, and then we also had the Kitty Cut Purse for a second, but just none of that is strong enough for the current board. So cut down on that, a little bit funny, but still getting to just play this massive ranged character is hopefully good enough. That allows us to win the Reckless Wager for this turn, and now we want to just set ourselves up going into 4.0, where we will receive another free character. We're going to wind up tripling the Crafty, and I'm considering just taking Fountain of Youth here. Not typically a treasure that I'll go for, though there is some incentive to take it here. Obviously, I'm playing Snow Angel. It would be awkward. I don't really... well, yeah, there's a few things going on. So if we had picked up the... blanking on it now, Fountain of Youth, the main incentive for that would have been now we would have had 2 treasures to go alongside Crafty. So there was definitely some consideration to do that, but ultimately just going to wind up going for this. And then Could have gone for the Evil Eye. We already have a Heartwood Elder. Maybe we'd hit a Nutcracker next turn, or maybe we would just try to find a Nutcracker. So I didn't think that was the craziest idea, but ultimately we are just going to wind up going for this, and we will see if our Shadow Assassin is enough to break through all of these prized pigs. It is, so we will have some bonus gold, and we get a bonus Stag stealing from my opponent, and a bonus Court Wizard. So we got a lot of bonus Jonas stuff going on this turn. Some stags, some ranged units. We don't really have much in the way of royals to make this Court Wizard work, but 2 ranged characters and 2 stags, and we're feeling pretty powerful. So I'm definitely feeling strong enough that I'm going to go for Turkish Delight. And that's kind of what I was talking about. Getting the econ early on just winds up being so much more impactful than grabbing it later. There's just so much more that you can do with that. So yeah, I'm gonna wind up picking up some XP and seeing what we can do, and then I'm gonna play another character that I actually don't typically play that often, Chupacabra. It's not a character that sees too much play, but it lines up pretty well on this board. We get to scale it with the River Wish Mermaid as well. I could have potentially moved the Court Wizard sooner, so that way the Chupacabra was slaying onto the Court Wizard, but I wanted to get the Chupacabra some bonus stats as well for its troubles. Unfortunately, we're not going to have enough stats here to take on my opponent's pair of Queen of Hearts, so we'll take 5 damage down to 29, but we are up in XP on the lobby. We're still sitting pretty nice in second place, and ultimately I'm not feeling too bad about our current position. So yeah, I like where we're at. We're still stealing cards with Gloves of Thieving, though Gloves is kind of an awkward treasure when you're ahead of the rest of the lobby. That always makes it kind of interesting. And then I'm going to wind up picking up a Lightning Dragon here just because that works well with the Shadow Assassin and works well with the River Wish Mermaid that we already have. And then I'll cap off the turn by picking up a Cinderella just to potentially grab a tier 2 treasure down the line. We already used Runestones, but there's still some other really good ones. We could grab Bounty Board, we could grab Hermes Sandals, we could grab Dragon's Nest, though that's a little bit weaker at this stage of the game. And then Noble Steed could also be a really, really good treasure for us. So definitely some options. And you can see we're still like ridiculously powerful. We lost our combat last turn, but we're still looking pretty nice here. We get a Baby Bear for free, which is not a character that I'm super impressed with, but we're already here. Like, that's the important part. That's the thing that I think people miss a lot of times with Snow Angel. Sure, we got the worst roll. I much rather would have had a Lancelot or a Robin Hood. In fact, I think I might wind up picking up both a Lancelot and a Robin Hood this turn. If not, we at least grab the Lancelot. And then, let's see, do we grab the Robin Hood here? No Robin Hoods here, but some other trees. Gonna be impossible to pass up a pair of Heartwood Elders this turn, so we are going to grab some of those. I could even sell 4 things right now just to grab it. Sell the Baby Bear, the Golden Chicken. I kind of want to hang on to this Cindy though, so ultimately I'm just going to wind up picking up Heartwood Elder this turn. Still a powerful card, and then next turn I will sell off something and pick up both of these Heartwood Elders, and that seems pretty sweet to me. Chupacabra gonna get the Slay, that is nice, and then I think like everything else, well, now everything has to attack into Heartwood Elder. It's my only character in the front row, so that works out nicely for us. Lancelot going to get a pair of Slays this combat, going up to 21 attack, so that is almost active. Though it's going to go down a little bit farther now that it doesn't have the stag bonus. Forgot about that. So still off a little ways, but we can actually get pretty close here. And one thing, so I'm going to play around with a few different board positions this turn, but one thing that I'm thinking is try to get some scaling on these Heartwood Elders. I think that I've cemented myself into trees at this point, and making my Heartwood Elders actually be, I'm sorry, not Heartwood Elders, Ashwood Elms. Apologies if I've been calling them Heartwood Elders for a few turns now, but I want to get these Ashwood Elms slaying, and they will slay. They're going to have absolutely massive attack as long as they get to attack. So I'm going to put the Lightning Dragon in slot 1. That way I can put the Ashwood Elms in slots 2 and 3. Still have a ranged character in slot 5. I think that this is ultimately pretty good board positioning here, and a really powerful board as well. We're up in XP on the rest of the lobby. We get to take out a doubly. We get to take out both doublies there, actually, as my opponent, this Rumpelstiltskin, has a Lordy, but we will take some damage from them. We'll take 11 damage down to 18. Again, we're still kind of leading the middle of the pack here. We've got Krampus at the top of the lobby with a whole bunch of stats. Then we're leading the rest of this gang. And Robin Hood is, like I said, another really good character on tier 5. I much rather would have had that than Baby Bear, but rather late than never. We'll get to pick that up, and by picking up a second Robin Hood, we actually get to make a really nice play here because, well, after we go ahead and cast this Shrink spell and grab that Noble Steed, which is a pretty lucky pickup, we'll sell 2 characters to be able to pick up this Robin Hood. Now Lancelot, and the reason I sell off this Lightning Dragon and bench the River Wish Mermaid, Lancelot is now my lowest attack character. All of the trees are going to get plus 32 attack, and then Robin Hood, one of those triggers is going to go onto Lancelot, giving that 23 attack. The other one will go onto my Shadow Assassin. 23 means that all Lancelot has to do is slay and stay, and I'll grab a tier 6 treasure for free here. So that is really sweet. We are going to get the 50-50, get the slay and stay. So that works out really, really nicely for us. We also take out the Wombats with the Ashwood Elm, or not the Ashwood Elm, Rotten Applewood. So that's really nice. And then we grab the Win as well, and we're going to be able to grab a tier 6 treasure on this turn. So I'm going to go for Mimic Chest. That way we've got Mimic Chest plus Gloves of Thieving. That seems sweet enough to me, though I really could have seen going for the Spear as well. I think that that could have been cool, especially as we were now trying to pick up an Echo Wood potentially to add to this trees board. But one other thing that trees really love is tier 7 treasures, and this is a little bit expensive. I'm going to wind up selling off the Good Boy that I just picked up, as well as everything on my bench and my Lancelot, to pick up a Green Knight and a Hercules. Now, both of these Robin Hoods are going to wind up going on to the Hercules. That'll give it plus 14 attack up to 41. Not quite enough to activate in one, so maybe I could have put the Green Knight onto the Hercules for this turn, but this is also a nice board layout because it allows our Robin Hoods to attack most frequently, and we might need the help. This Krampus has been tearing up this lobby, and they're pretty strong, but we are able to take them down a peg, put them on everybody else's level. We pick up a pair of monster books here, and now we're just rolling. I'll pick up a golden chicken, and next turn, hopefully, we will have this Hercules activation, grab a tier 7 treasure. Tier 7 treasures just work really, really phenomenally with trees, so I'm hoping that we can make all of that work. That sounds like a lot of fun. Unfortunately, we cannot sell our bench for the Robin Hood. That'll put us down a unit, and I'm also not sure that I want to rush into a tier 5 treasure. Like even a Hand of Midas, I'd rather pick that up at like the start of a turn, and that way we get to use our Gloves of Thieving, our Mimic Chested Gloves of Thieving for another combat. The longer we can hang on to that, the cooler it will be as the rest of the lobby catches up in power to us. That's always one awkward thing, is I always like, I mean, Gloves of Thieving is such a powerful treasure, but it doesn't work when you're already ahead, because, well, it would have been amazing if we could steal like the Hercules here from this opponent, but unfortunately we wind up stealing the Medusa. I guess we had a 25% chance to steal something relevant. The rest of the stuff I wouldn't have cared about. My opponent does steal our Hercules. Not sure if they grab a treasure from that, and they are also able to steal a win. They get pretty lucky there, and they're able to hit us for some damage, but no matter. We are able to grab a tier 7 treasure, and we're playing trees. Why not add the World Tree to the board? I'm not sure what made me decide that I wanted to keep Noble Steed here. Certainly a mistake. I could have just held on to the Gloves of Thieving for another turn or two, but ultimately, probably, excuse me, not going to matter too much. We're able to pick up a Good Boy, which is nice stats now that Good Boy is a tree, and then we are also able to triple up on our Ashwood Elm. So I'm going to sell off some things to be able to afford that, and importantly, I'm hanging on to the monster book here. The reason that I'm doing that, and then of course I'm going to grab Pandora's box and toss the Noble Steed this turn anyways, but keep the monster book because the monster book gets to get plus 100 attack, and I just thought that would be the strongest unit. You don't really need a Rotten Applewood with plus 100 attack because yeah, it's like a monster book with 100 attack is already doing the work of an Applewood there anyways. Get a little bit of an awkward treasure from the Pandora's box. We wind up getting a Fairy Queen's Wand. Not the most impressive treasure, but you know what? Doubled up, it is still plus 14 to everything on the board. And it's plus 200 fairy dust if we are able to grab the win. Well, it's plus 200 fairy dust to whoever wins this lobby now. So 300 fairy dust in total. It's always fun. Back when I was starting to play this game, I just realized that my camera's been down probably this whole time. All right, well, apologies for that. I've got no clue when that happened. I'll try to fix it here, but this is like my 4th video recording in a row, so it's probably just not going to get fixed today, unfortunately. I can't even find the button to fix it. All right, let's see. Will this turn her back on? Probably not. No, I can't even get it with my finger here. Just gonna make this noise for a second, and no. Okay, so no camera for the rest of this video, unfortunately. Playing around with it here. Yeah, the cord is just loose. Apologies for all of those technical troubles. Did I get it? No. Okay, it's not turning on. I don't know why. I'm not going to worry about it. This game's probably almost over. Everybody's down into the single-digit life total. But what I was going to say, I was going to go on to a little bit of an anecdote there and talk about when I first started playing Storybook Brawl. Bring us back a little bit. I would spend a lot of time... Oh, by the way, I think that I did miss a Lordy at one point. I just didn't see it because of the new artwork. Didn't stand out. He's like a gargoyle or like a stone like monster, the new Lordy. So I missed him in one of the previous shops, but not a huge deal. When I first started playing Storybook Brawl, I would spend a lot of time in practice mode up against the bots. And eventually, I got good enough playing up against the bots that basically every game I would try to get Mimic Chest plus Fairy Queen's Wand. I would take Horde Dragon whenever it was an option available to me, and I would try to rush, grab some XP, and grab those treasures, and those are then the games that felt like wins. So in some ways, this game is like a true win. I'm actually winning here because I'm going to try to go for Mimic Chest plus Fairy Queen's Wand, which everybody knows is the only true win that you can get in Storybook Brawl. And then we're going to wind up casting a Knighthood on our good boy up against the Ghost. Great time to do it. Huge power spike. Oops, let me rewind. We are just up against the Ghost here, so not expecting this combat to be too threatening, though my opponent's Wombats gives a copycat. They're going to be able to spawn a bunch of extra characters here. Pretty silly. Still, all of their characters are way too small, so doesn't really matter. They're not going to be able to even get past our front line, and our ranged units in the back can take them out. And now we are on to the finals against Rumpelstiltskin, and looks like they're playing dwarves. Well, our trees are just going to be a little bit bigger than their dwarves. I think I'm just going to go ahead and pick up a burning tree and an echo wood here and really turn into a tree comp if there is any doubt. And then one other thing, I think that this is actually slightly better to play a Green Knight here. Basically, we're only going to potentially struggle if we don't have enough health, and giving as much possible health to Good Boy, I think, is going to greatly just increase our chances to win. And then all of these Good Boys pumping up the Burning Beards. One other thing that I could potentially do is put like 1 or 2 of these burning beards in the back line, so that way they also guaranteed to get the buffs from the good boy, but good boy's gonna go down very quickly anyways, and then my burning trees take out my opponent's Echo Wood, and you can see my Echo Wood has 3 attack and a whole bunch of health. And there we go, there's our bounty. 300 dust, a true win in Storybook Brawl. Very nice. And that is, of course, going to be it for me today. Apologies for the technical issues and the cough, which is just going to be a thing. That's just part of the channel now until that gets ironed out. But that is going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm no Lex Given. Peace. Fun fact, even when my camera isn't on, I still do the no Lex Given peace with my fingers, just for myself. I don't know why. It just makes it feel more real. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.